Hi there, my name is David. Welcome to my channel. This is Aldo's Machine Knitting. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to oil the machine. I have received a number of requests asking for me to oil the machine, and I just thought I would do a video on it. This video also covers some other machines as well that are very similar, and it's just basically about oiling the machine and how to take care of it a little bit. It's actually quite important to oil a machine, so let me do this video and show you how it's done. What I'm going to be using today as equipment, cleaning equipment, is I'm basically going to just use these old brushes, and I'm going to use some machine oil, and I'm going to use just the household toilet paper that you get in shops. And this is basically what I'm going to be using to clean the machine with. It's very basic stuff. These are old toothbrushes that I've used, and I use them over and over again. I wash them, I put them in the dishwasher, I wash them first, and then I put them in the dishwasher, and then they come out looking the same. I've used these brushes for ages, and they look just as good as ever. So I'm just going to show you how these work and how I use them on the machine. It's really quite simple. It's not very complicated. And like I was saying, this is the Knitmaster 323. This is also the machine. There's another label called the Studio. So there's a Studio 323, and it's very similar to the 321. The 321 is kind of a yellow color or a very dark beige color, and the Studio 321 is very much the same. So I will be showing you on this machine how to oil it, and it's really quite easy. What I'll be using is I'm just using a handy maintenance oil. This is used on bicycles as well and sewing machines. It's actually a regular oil. It's not the W40, which I wouldn't recommend on any machine or even a bicycle. So this is what I'm using, and I will just show you what I'm going to do with the oil. What I wanted to talk about is the grooves where the needles move. Um, I find that the grooves that are here does rub against the needles, and what happens is it can leave marks in the needles, and sometimes it's good to just clean it and to just give it a little bit of oil here. You don't have to put much in these grooves. It's just to help the needles, and it also seems to help the needles be a little bit smoother. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to take this old toothbrush, and I'm going to put some oil on the toothbrush like so. This is what you do, and you just put a little bit on, and you find that the toothbrush does absorb it a lot. And basically what you do is you just take this and you just basically clean the grooves like this. And this is what helps the needles move a little bit. It also helps clear it as well. And this does maintain the knitting machine a bit better. I often do this, and then I just wipe it away with some toilet paper or toweling, whatever you want to use. And that's how this works. Usually when I do this, a little bit, you can see a little bit of dark stuff comes off it. And this is just what happens when you start cleaning it. And it's really quite a simple process of doing this. and it actually keeps the needle. Just make sure when you press the old toothbrush in that it really goes into the grooves, because that will really help a lot in how these machines are cleaned. So this is a very handy tip for cleaning your machine on the actual needle bed, and this is quite useful in helping you. The other part of the needle bed is this section here, which is the back of it. This is what the carriage slides on. This needs cleaning as well. And what I do is I do the same thing. I use a brush, this old toothbrush, and then I go onto the actual ridge here, and this is what I do to clean it. And I really give it a good kind of scrub. And then I find that this is something that needs to be cleaned a lot. And you can see here that you can see this starting to show black stuff. So this is really what's important here to get this here. The other thing is I often put oil on it, and then I run the carriage over, and then what I do is if there's any black sooting, that's what I clean. And then often or not I clean that, and you can see that the black sooting comes up. This shows up a lot, and this is sometimes where you got to clean the machine a lot. You do the whole back bar of this ridge, and you make sure that it becomes clean. Another way you can clean this ridge is actually where you actually apply oil to the back here. Here I am applying oil. You can see I'm applying oil. And I find these machines like a lot of oil, so I don't feel, so if you feel you put too much oil on, you know, it's just fine. And what you can do is just put your machine over, carriage over, like so, and you go across it a few times, like so. And what you can do is you can just wipe it with the toweling or the toilet paper, and you just wash it off like this, like so. And this helps make the machine smoother. As you can see, it's only a little bit of stuff that's on here, but that's also something that helps clean the machine. I find that it is very useful, and it helps maintain the machine much better. So this back piece is very important. You can put a little bit oil on this edge here, which is the plastic piece, and I sometimes put oil here, and then what I do is I just wipe it. I use the machine over it a little bit, and then sometimes that comes off. So this is areas that people don't consider cleaning. As you can see already, I picked up a lot of dirt, and that's how this has come about. I also sometimes clean the back here with the toothbrush. This is what I do. I take the toothbrush, and basically I just clean the back here like this. I just put it in there, and this is what I do. It's very simple, and you can even rub it this way, and this helps keep it clean as well. And you know, everywhere there's a groove or place, you can also keep it clean. I never ever use cleaner. I never use any solvents or any kind of other cleaner. I just use the oil. I use it also on the plastic parts as well. I use oil for most of all the cleaning here. It does collect dust a little bit, but then you just keep wiping it as you go along. I find that the oil seems to help in every which way you can, and solvents and cleaning fluids and domestic bleach or any of those kinds of things are really not good for your machine. So you should try not to use it if you can avoid it. because most of this is metal parts, and you just need to make sure that you clean it properly. And as you go along, you will find that it gets easier to clean, and then you'll find your machine works much better. Here I've taken the carriage off the machine, off the needle bed, and basically what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be cleaning the underside of it. Normally what I do is I put the handle down like so, and then I turn it over, and then I have a look on the other side. And basically what I do is I look at all the moving parts that are on the machine. Here are some moving parts. So these are things I need to consider when I do oiling. So basically what I'm going to show you, what I'm going to be doing is I usually put oil on the top of the toothbrush that I've got here. Let me just show you how I do that. And this is what I do. I do that, and then what I do is I basically just scrub all the metal parts, every area that I think that might need it. This is what I do. I scrub it. I find where the areas are that need a little bit of scrubbing, and this is where I scrub it. I just scrub it all over like this. I even scrub oil on the plastic bits and on any metal bit that I can find, and I basically just use this to clean it. Cleaning can take sometimes a while to do because you really need to make your machine a little bit better. And these machines, I find they love lots of oil. They really do love lots of oil, and they don't mind this oil at all. So I find that this works really well, and this is what makes the machine happy. So after I've oiled it like that, I take the toilet paper or the cleaning towel or whatever you want to use, and I basically just clean everywhere I can. When the grooves, I make little points. This toilet paper is actually quite good for this kind of thing, and then I basically just clean it in like so. And you find that a lot of this just seems to clean very well. Don't worry about it flaking a little bit. Sometimes it flakes a little bit, and you don't have to do very heavy handiwork here. And basically it's just to just to check that all the parts are moving, everything is oiled, and everything is clean. I find that the oil is the best cleaning agent, especially for underneath here. And it doesn't matter if you've left some oil in, it doesn't really matter at all. Like I say, these machines love oil. Any part that is movable, like I say, and up underneath here, that's where it likes the oil the most, and that's where you put it. I even use the oil on the surface here, anything that needs oiling, and I use the oil on the plastic like this. I take the leftover little bit of oil on there and I clean it very well, and then basically I dry it. I find for some reason or other this machine loves this kind of thing. It loves a lot of oil, and it actually works really well. So that's basically what I do when I clean the carriage, and that's how it looks. It just takes a bit of time. Use the oil and use a dry piece of toweling as well, and to get any excess oil, or just to make it smoother. I don't put oil on the handles normally. I just use the oil where I can. I do find it gets a little bit dusty, but that's something you can do really easy. So that's how you clean your carriage, and let's go on to the next thing. Here is the sinker plate for the machines. this doesn't really need oiling. What you really need to check is whether these uh, um, wheels are turning properly, and that all the wheels are turning properly, because they need to be really loose and they need to make sure. So sometimes when those aren't doing very well, just make sure. This machine has extra wheels on here. Sometimes I can't remember what this is for, but sometimes those get placed in as well. You just need to check what your machine does and what equipment it needs, and then you just work. I've just used this as it is. I haven't used weaving brushes on here yet, and basically you just clean. So basically I just clean this with a little bit of oil as well. Everything that's metal, anything you can clean as well, that seems to work really well. I find that the oil cleans any rusty bits. Sometimes your machine has a lot of rust on it. If you put oil onto those rusty bits, it actually does clean it much better. And you know what? It's a little bit messy, and you're thinking, oh, well, it's a little bit messy. Do I really need to use all that oil? But you know what? Your machine loves it, and it really loves using machine oil, and that seems to work really well. So, this is what I say for all the metal parts and all the pieces that need to be moved. Use a bit of oil and just use that for cleaning. Do not use solvents, like I say, or domestic bleach or any of those kinds of things. Just basically use something like machine oil that you use, high maintenance oil. Do not use WD-40. That is really not good for your machine, and I would avoid that if you can. So this is how you clean the sinker plate. So let me just show you one more section of cleaning your machine. What I wanted to show is the last cleaning thing that I do. Here I have a saucer, but normally what I do is I've got the wrap bags that I use that are slightly thicker. And when I have a really big project where I have to take all the needles out, what I do is I try to save the needles that are useful, and I find that oiling them is really quite useful, especially when the needles are rusty. I had a machine years ago that I had to repair, but I didn't know what needles they were, and the needles were it seemed like in very poor condition. So I painstakingly put them all into a bag, and I poured a whole lot of oil in it, and I juggled it up and left it overnight, and I found that all the oil was making the rust come off. So it was a very simple method to try and save those needles. And every needle that I used on that, every needle that I oiled on that machine, it was actually, they were all working. They were actually, the quality of the needles was so good that even though they looked rusty, they worked really well. So I was able to do it. So I'm just going to show you with the saucer what I do. It's basically what I do here. I take the needles and I usually put them in a bag, and this is what I do. So this would be in the bag, and basically I just put a lot of oil on it, like so. And then what I do is I leave it in the bag overnight. And then what I do is when the bag's overnight, I take the needle and then I start cleaning it, like so. And this seems to work really well. So this is what I do with the needles. If you look closely, I was showing you with the toothbrush of putting the grooves on the needle bed. If you look very closely at here, you can see, if I turn this slightly, I can turn it in a way, you can sometimes see the little marks that are there, and that is caused by it rubbing against the actual grooves here. And this is one reason why, if you oil your needles, will actually work better. The other thing is the oil seems to help a lot of this. Sometimes it gets a little bit rusty at the where the latch is, so when you put the oil in, you can save a few needles that way. So that's basically what I do with the needles. So I clean them out, and then I put them back into the machine. Sometimes, just saving your needles is something useful, and it's something that helps the machine a little bit. For some reason or other, when I've cleaned the needles, it seems to work better in the machine. And I think the little bit of oil that's on the top here seems to help smooth the edges at the top. So it doesn't rub against metal. I have come across lots of machines. Sometimes you see a machine at a slight angle and it seems like it's got shiny grooves. That's where the metal's been broken. And so in order to prevent that, you do this with the needles. So this is what I do with the needles, and this is how I clean them. So it just basically just saves a lot of time and effort to make a machine work better. And I find that the machines do, like I say, do love a lot of oil. So, and don't be liberal with it. Just clean it as you go. Wash your hands more regular. Just make sure where the yarn is, how the yarn is positioned. Just make sure you do a few samples beforehand. If you're worried about the yarn marking, just do a test sample with the machine, and you will find it works much better. The only part that the needle actually works on is on top of the latch. So this is the only part that you need to make sure that is very clean, so that the yarn can work really well, and there won't be any marks. So as long as this section here is clean and it hasn't got any oil on it, you should be fine. So that's how I would oil your needles and also save your needles at the same time. Yeah, I wanted just to show you the marks that are on the needle. You can kind of see how this one has more marks, and you can see where it's wrapped up against the thing. So this is one of the reasons why I oil the needles, because I find that it does seem to help a little bit when this is working on the machine. So these are the kinds of things that it rubs up against, and this is the kind of thing where I try to save the needles that I have. Well, this is a video that I've done for cleaning. Basically, the machine has done a bit better. I haven't done anything on the sponge bars, but I'll do that in another video in the future. So as you can see, you just have to listen to your machine, and this sounds much smoother than it used to be. So it's just by doing this, you can hear whether the machine is not. If it sounds like it's really noisy or a little bit of scraping, then that means you need to oil your machine a little bit better, and that'll just help your machine. And you know what? A happy machine is a good machine, and it should help improve your knitting a lot. So I want to say thank you for watching. Please subscribe and leave a comment, and I will be doing a new video soon.